us, this is the Ruddi Bruce broadcast. You focus on the truth, I focus on the facts. People of Canada, your voice will speak a million strong. If we come together and fight what's going on, we got homeless people living in tents. Be compassionate, do not judge, because 200,000 of us are using food banks. Where's the pride? Where's the pride? Where's our money we slave for? They cover it up. The working man is living poor. Ruddi has true leadership, speaking for the ones who are tired of this shit. Make the government officials get a grip, or everyone loses the respect. Something's wrong, open your eyes. They tell us lies, you're blinded to this and more. When your lawn united, we stand divided, we fall. The time will come, the day is near, we will all march. So listen with your ears, we are not zombies or fresh meat. Let's grind up the government, make compost for the maple trees. Let's avenge the deaths of the ones who have fallen. Coronavirus, opioids, we're still trying. They thought they got away scot-free. We will get the last laugh. Just wait and see. These talks we have on the broadcast will provide the guide. Let's do it fast. Taxpayers believe we live strong and free. Everyone does. Are you kidding me? Round of applause to you and yours for tuning in. We're opening doors. This is the real movement, people. Let's stand up, Canada, before we lose. Let's do it fast. Taxpayers believe we live strong and free. Everyone does. Are you kidding me? You and yours are tuning in. We're opening doors. This is the real movement. People that stand up Canada before we lose it.
Welcome. Welcome back to the broadcast. Now, I'm going to shut that down because I found out that my speaker was low in juice. Anyway, I'm back. And we are now broadcasting on X. We're broadcasting on YouTube, and we're broadcasting on Facebook. So if you're on any of those platforms, you're going to catch the live, and we will have a look just to see how it's looking. While I'm looking here, of course, just to make sure it's getting shared out there. There I am on Facebook. We'll share that one out. I'll share that out. It's shared out on Facebook. If you are just joining us, share this out, guys. There it is. That's what I want to see. Now, let's see here. We're just waiting for some more people to come in. Let's see, YouTube. I got to make sure that this is all getting out there, guys. Yeah, we're live on YouTube, and somebody asked me on YouTube, how do we share it out on YouTube? All you can do on YouTube is there's your share button there on YouTube. You share that to whatever platform you're on. I just shared it to Facebook. That's the only way you can share that. So you can share it on to a different platform. Okay. And then on X, where are we on X here? Here we are. On X, we are there. And repost, okay. So we are live on X. We're live on YouTube, and we're live on Facebook. Okay. There it is. Live on X. There it is. That's the other platform we got into today. Okay, so we are live on all three platforms. So if you have a problem with Facebook and you happen to be on X, you can catch me live on X or any other thing, you know. So if you have a share button on Facebook or if you're on X, share it out there. Let's give them a little bit to get in here. Because I just want to touch on a few things regarding what's been going on. Let's see now. No, I'm not going to get into a lot of stuff with that. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Sherry. Nadine, Sherry. Okay, you're all in here. Let's give this a few minutes. I hope everybody's got a cup of coffee. I got my coffee. Anybody want coffee? I like that one guy. Anybody want coffee? I make coffee. You want coffee? Who wants a coffee? I love it. Okay. So now we're blasting it out there to all three platforms. And the volume is up on here. Good. So the volume is good. Everybody can see me okay, hear me okay. Got wine. Oh, somebody Sherry's got wine. You're lucky, duck. I can't do any drinking right now because I'm on some medication because I got a bit of a chest infection. But we're working on that. But I'll get better. We went and seen the doctor there a few days ago. So we got some more pills to take. Lucky me. I want to touch on the convoy series that we're doing, and I'm going to touch on the first video we did with Peter Turner. And I'm going to get into some of the other ones a little bit. But I put up a post yesterday on Facebook, and I put this post was in relation to um, Bridget. Bridget is the lady trucker. That's her. Okay. Bridget is the lady trucker that started the Freedom Convoy 2022. Okay. She is going to be on one of the broadcasts in the series. And I put up a post. There, get some wormwood, ivermectin, zinc, vitamin C, vitamin D, and garlic. Well, garlic is a good one. I know garlic. I believe in the rest of them too. I've heard a lot about that stuff. Anyway, anyway, I put up a post about Bridget, and the next day, it's gone. Now, I didn't delete it or anything, but it seems to be taken down for some unknown reason. So that set me on a real path of what the fuck with Facebook. This thing that we are broadcasting about the convoy is a very important subject, because there was 2 convoys that went to Ottawa, and both of them were fucked over. Okay. That's why I'm bringing the series to your attention, for you to fully understand what happened. And it's a very involving thing. That first broadcast, we're at like 2,300 views. Okay. Now, we advertised that broadcast like 2 weeks in advance. Okay. And when we did the broadcast, we hit Facebook and we hit YouTube. Okay. Now, 2,200 views. Now, when you come into the broadcast, guys, okay, you've got to share. Okay. And if you're on YouTube, you can subscribe. You're going to get notifications of when the broadcast comes out. But you really got to share, because I'm a very shadow banned guy. Okay. They don't like me for some unknown reason. Okay. They don't like me because I spill out too much truth that they don't like. So, in order to make this broader amongst Canadians, you've got to share it. Okay. You've really got to share the broadcast and wake them up. Okay. That is a very important thing. Okay. We're putting a lot of time and a lot of effort into bringing you this broadcast. The reason being is because, again, these hijacks on these convoys and other things have been happening to the movement for a long time. There's people that have gotten into infiltrated into the freedom movement for their own personal gain. Okay, not about helping the country, but their own personal gain. They make it about money. Okay. Now, granted, there are some costs involved in bringing you an event or a broadcast or whatever the case. But, to be, coming down to an event and then selling your hats and hoodies and making it into a carnival thing, is very distasteful. Okay. In a way, I find, the focus should be on the problems of our country. Okay. Not how rich you can be as a result of getting into the movement and becoming a speaker or whatever the case. Okay. That was never the case for me. All right. On my expenses, I caught 3 trolls today, and I blocked them all. Okay. One, let me show you. Let me show you this. Okay. Let me show you this. Um, let's go back to troll number 1. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to explain how this works. The biggest troll central. Okay. This one here. She is Allison Victoria. Okay. And I came across this post and she says, Ruddi Bruce is a lying piece of shit. Okay. That's what she put out there. Let me show you. That was her post. Okay. Calling me a lying piece of shit. Now, she's sitting on the step of Chris Barber's truck. Okay. I don't know if you can see that. She's sitting on the step of Chris Barber's truck. Okay. Now, maybe she's his girlfriend or wife or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. Okay. But I'm not a lying piece of shit. So right there, I know she's a troll. Troll Central coming from Chris Barber's truck. Okay. Sitting right there. Allison. Oh, just a minute. Allison Victory. Okay. That was the first one I came across today. Okay. Number 2 was Candy Bergier or whatever the fuck it is. That's her name right there. Okay. That was number 2. And she come up with anybody donating to this guy needs to get their head checked. Okay. This is how ruthless this one is. Okay. I don't. He's paid by Canadian taxpayers to promote the garbage he is. Truly a disgusting Canadian. That was troll number 2. Okay. Troll number 3, Steve Kerr. And what did Steve Kerr say? That's what happens when you scam money from people, go out for breakfast. What a joke. Always crying you don't have money. This is low bullshit. Okay. That was troll number 3. Now I have another post up there. And I've put it up there well in advance. Okay. That this is, what it is. If you're going to be disrespectful and be negative, you're basically a troll. Okay. I don't give a fuck about somebody's being disrespectful on my network. Okay. That is just pure garbage. What these people are putting out is pure garbage. Okay. And I'm not going to stand for people like that. Okay. If I catch you putting out a comment like that, where it's disrespectful and untrue, you're fucking gone. Okay. I will block your ass in a fucking heartbeat. Okay. These people have no fucking brains. Okay. They're children that didn't get out of grade school and they left their minds behind. Okay. Or something. They grew into being an adult, but they're still fucked somewhere in the head. Okay. Because they can't listen to any form of reason. Okay. But they want to point a finger. They want to point a finger because they're jealous or whatever the case is. but I don't give a fuck, okay? I don't listen to that shit. I find that shit and they're gone. I don't give a fuck. If you can't be respectful, okay? You know, there's an old saying, if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all. But use your fucking heads, okay? There's too many stupid fucking Canadians in Canada, okay? There's lots of them, all right? And when I come across people that are being disrespectful, I got no time for them, all right? I got no fucking time for them. Now, moving on to cost, I've been broadcasting the Ruddi Bruce broadcast for 10 years now, okay? 10 years. And out of that 10 years, it's been my cost, most of it, okay? There were a few times, like this last winter, I needed help with donations big time because I'm going into retirement. I am in my retirement now. My retirement has finally come in. It's only $2,000 a month, all right? And there were other times where I needed batteries in British Columbia. I needed a battery and I broke down in Rosetown. I needed some help there. There was another case where I had to go to British Columbia and I needed to get my van out of Hawk there because of that bullshit employer that I ran into there. So there were a few times where I reached out and I got donations, I got help. No problem, okay? My fan base is a very solid fan base. And I'm not going to have my fans or my viewers go through bullshit of these trolls, okay? I find you're a troll, you're fucking gone, okay? If you can't be respectful, you're fucking gone. Now, this StreamYard is costing me $90 a month, okay? Plus, my internet is 200 gigabytes, so I have an expensive plan of $150 a month for my phone, okay? Then I just put out $15 for being on X so that I could broadcast on X, okay? And there's going to be more cost coming in because we're kicking up the broadcast because I'm retired now and this is what we're going into full time. So there's going to be a little bit more cost, but not too much. But I'm going to be ongoing with donations, okay, just to let you know. And if you can't donate, that's fine, okay? I'm not going to come out there and find out where you live and twist your arm, okay? If you can donate, that's cool. But if you can't, that's understandable. At least share the friggin' videos, okay? That's the most important thing. Share the video, share it out there, and let other people know that the broadcast is on or whatever the case. That's a big part of it, okay? Sharing it out and getting that word out there is very important, okay? You know, that's a very, very important thing. My broadcasts are very important to Canadians because I don't put out bullshit, okay? I put out stuff, I put out content that is very relevant to the country at the time because have always been for the last, I don't know how many years in this country, been in a very, very awkward situation when it comes to our political landscape. And there's a lot of corruption in our government, okay? And it's very important that Canadians wake up to all of this corruption and have an understanding of some form of what to do regarding it. There is a case called the Little Child case. And these politicians, they can say whatever they want. I mean, as far as promise you the world, okay? Right? But when they get into government, they're not accountable, okay? Our government, our Canadian government, is not accountable to shit. We just went under the last 10 years of Mr. Fuckface Trudeau, okay? And look what's happened to our country. Our country's almost in breaking up here. We've got Alberta wanting to do an independent thing or even join the US, okay? Our country's in such shambles now, it's unbelievable. And you don't seem to think that the Ruddi Bruce broadcast is important, baby. I'm doing what I can, okay? I can only do so much. I'm only one friggin' guy. But that's my passion as a Canadian. And if these trolls want to come out and say shit about me, you don't need to be watching the broadcast. You don't need to be on my network. You can hit the road, hit the bricks, baby. You know what I mean? You can hit the bricks because I don't need you. Neither does my audience. My viewers need to see this kind of shit that some of these people are putting out there, okay? Which is not true. I don't need to hear it. I don't need to see it. You know, I do what I can, and that's all I can do. You know what I mean? But I don't need to hear people, you know, talking shit about me because I've got a lot of shit I could talk about some Canadians, okay? Like for the most part in our country, Canadians, some Canadians got together and held big demonstrations. But how many do we have in this country? We have almost 40 million Canadians here now, okay? 40 million Canadians. You would think we would be able to come together on something and fix our political landscape a little bit. But what happens? All this last 10 years, it was a nightmare. Realizing just how negative or withdrawn a lot of people are when it comes to our government. And it reeks. The corruption reeks out of Parliament. I mean, as to what Trudeau did with the last trucker convoy, freezing bank accounts, calling out the cops on a peaceful protest because he didn't have the balls to come out and talk to anybody, even though those leaders were naive, okay? They didn't know what they were doing, okay? In the last show that we just did, I showed you the fact that Peter Turner came out there, offered his services, okay? Offered his services for free. A lobbyist who's already got ties in with the government, has already done big demonstrations. It wasn't his first rodeo. Mad Dog says, when are you gonna learn, old man, there is no political solution. It's all rigged. Listen, the people have power in this country if they would get together and use it. Okay? That's the whole point. The people do have power in this country, but you've got to come together to make it effective. Okay? That's where, you know, coming together and standing together, shoulder to shoulder, would make a difference. But it's got to be done properly. It can't be done like show up in Ottawa, like the trucker convoy did. Show up in Ottawa with 1,500 trucks and sit there and party on Main Street. That ain't going to fucking solve shit. When they went to Ottawa, they didn't even have a plan together or a meeting set up with any government officials. They just thought they were going to go to Ottawa, park a bunch of trucks, and blow their horns, and that sure got their attention, but it didn't do shit. If Canadians don't understand there's a way of doing things, you're never going to get anywhere. And that's why I phoned Chris Barber, Pat King, and the rest of them to get Peter Turner at the table, because Peter Turner knew what the fuck he was able to do and what he wasn't able to do. It wasn't his first rodeo. Oh, okay. Keith says the convoy did unite Canadians. The bad spot was the leaders. Exactly. Okay. Dead on. Dead on. Keith, that is perfect. That's exactly what happened. Okay. That's exactly what happened. Good comment, Keith. So that's what we're running into, ladies and gentlemen, is a lack of proper leadership when it comes to getting shit done. Okay. That's a big problem in Canada. Big problem. That's a big, big problem. And I already knew that. And that's why I asked him to get Peter Turner involved, because he was a professional. And that convoy of such magnitude needed some proper leadership when getting to Ottawa. But Tamara Leach turned her back on Peter Turner, as you saw in the show. So it wasn't, I mean, it looks to me like it wasn't about the movement with Tamara Leach, or whatever her name is. It wasn't about the movement for her, per se. It was the fame and the money. Okay? That's what it was, not the movement. She didn't even have a plan written up to present to the government at all. There was no meetings arranged with the government at all. In fact, there was never a sit down with the government in an official capacity at all when the convoy was in Ottawa. It was a big party, though. A lot of speeches, but that was it. And a lot of horn honking to piss off the residents. And when you're in a big situation like that, you want to keep the public on your side. You know what I mean? You don't want to piss off the public, because that's part of what we're doing there. We want everybody to be together, united, and on the same page, including Ottawa residents. Let's see. I mean, beer is Canadian culture, but there is a time and place for everything. Correct. Right on, Nikki. That's true. There's a time and a place for everything. It wasn't the time to set up a big loudspeakers and have a great big fucking party on Main Street. You know? The truckers that went there were thrown under the bus. Exactly. Now, Keith, on that comment, there's 3 more shows that we're coming up with, and we're explaining there's more people coming into the broadcast on the next 3 shows. Bridget is one of them, but she's going to be probably in the last show. Bridget is the original lady trucker that started Convoy for Freedom 2022, not Tamara Lynch. Okay? There's other broadcasters out there painting this broad out to be the queen here. Okay. The queen of what? I'm not sure, because she had nothing to do with starting this convoy. All she got her hands in was the donation part. Okay. And I understand, and it's going to come out later on in the broadcast, that Tamara Lynch knew Glenn Carrot. Okay. Glenn Carrot was the first guy that hijacked the first convoy that went to Ottawa. And when I say hijack, I mean he took a totally different narrative to Ottawa than what it was supposed to be. It wasn't about oil and gas. Okay. That convoy was originally set up as Yellow Vest convoy. All right. And then they hijacked it and they turned it into oil and gas. And he totally changed the narrative. Okay. From the Yellow Vest convoy to oil and gas. Okay. They didn't have to do that. But certain people didn't like the fact that that's what it was going to Ottawa for. Well, too fucking bad. Okay. That was a major problem. And if we had taken up that narrative at that time, maybe things would have been different already. But it wasn't. They changed the narrative. They changed the purpose of that first convoy. And the second convoy, well, it was a complete clusterfuck, which you're going to find out in the next 3 shows from people that were there firsthand. About how clusterfucked that it got. Okay. It was a schmozzle. And there was no need for Trudeau. I mean, had they had their smarts with them, okay, there was no need for the cops to come out and start bashing heads. Had they got out of there and reparked out of the downtown area of Ottawa, and there was another place to go, but they didn't. They chose not to do it. They sat on their laurels, and they sat there, okay, and they didn't listen to the cops. The cops were telling them, "You're gonna get arrested. You're gonna get fucked up," okay. But the leadership was gone, okay, out to lunch. What's this one here? Ruddi, it's all a show. The government is going to fucking win every time. That's Mad Dog, I tell you. If you have all the people on your side and you understand what I'm talking about, it's the people that matter, not the fucking government. The government puts up a fucking smokescreen, okay? You look into the Myths Canada, Doug Force, and the fact that if we all got together and started constitutional conventions in this country and put in a de jure government instead of a de facto government, then we would be talking some serious shit. We're not fucking completely done yet. It's just the big smokescreen of the federal government and the provincial governments that have everybody guessing what the fuck. We need a bigger education on where the people stand in this country. And everybody goes off in 50 different fucking directions and gets away from the real point. And that is the people have the power, but they've got to come together and understand how to implement it. You know? So that's the whole point, ladies and gentlemen. If the people don't get a proper education as to how to properly do it, you'll never accomplish it. Ever. That's the part. That's the real problem. Okay? Education is coming. Is it rigged? Well, that is another good question. Sean, that's a very good question. Because if the proper people don't put it out there the way it's supposed to be done, then it'll be fucked again. Okay? You have people out there, and I'm going to tell you one thing. I'll tell you this, okay? And there was two individuals that did this. One is Dallas Hill. Another is Pat King. And there's been a few others. I don't have the names off the top of my head. They talk about constitutional convention. They are telling Canadians that all you got to do is come down and sign this constitution, and everything's going to be okay. That's not right. That is bullshit. The proper way to do a constitutional convention is every community, every zone in Canada, in the province of, say, Alberta or the province of Saskatchewan, every province is its own little territory, okay, of sovereignty. Every province, in every province, the community has to come together and vote a delegate, okay? All the communities in the province have to vote a delegate. All those delegates, once those delegates are formed, then they form a constitutional convention in the province. All those delegates come together. Out of all those delegates, they've got to put their ideas on paper. They're representing all of the communities in the province. Those delegates bring those opinions or whatever to the table. These delegates then write up a constitution, and then it gets voted on. Okay? And if it passes the vote with all these delegates and in this constitutional convention, if that piece of paper gets voted on as the constitution of the province, that is the law of the province. And that is the power of the people. And then you have all the right to implement whatever that constitution is. That means it's the end of a de facto government in that province and the beginning of a de jure government in that province. You can put in a temporary government, an emergency government, until such time as a formal election can be handled in the province after a constitution is written. And that is a de jure government, a government of the people and for the people and by the people. Now, another thing in this is that, I lost a little bit of my train of thought here. Another thing in this is that I forgot what that train of thought was. Anyway, that is the proper way to do a constitutional convention. A proper constitution. Oh yeah, I remember. Now I remember what my train of thought was. As it stands today, we do not have a proper constitution in Canada. There is no constitution in Canada. The Canadian Bill of Rights, the charter that you've been hearing about, okay, is all bullshit, okay? The government to date has been feeding the public a bunch of fucking bullshit because these are admiralty laws. This is admiralty bullshit, okay? This is not the common law, okay? This is a sham. This is a de facto government sham, okay? that we're all under. And that's why it's so important to finally get out the fact that we have to do a proper constitution in every province, because we, as the people of Canada, do not have a country per se. You look up the United Nations, we're recognized as some kind of fucking landmass, okay? Not a country. We don't have a constitution of the people in Canada. We have a constitution that is written by corrupt politicians. That's what we have for a constitution. And they can change it anytime they fucking so-called feel like it. The only grounds we have are from Westminster that say that every province is a sovereign province. Okay? But as far as a country goes, no. We have no real federation of Canada. We only have a bunch of provinces that can do what they want to do with a so-called elected government, okay? But that's it. We don't have a constitution of the people. And this fucking sham that they're pulling off in Alberta, wanting to be independent, okay? No, I'm sorry. But you keep letting that go, and you're going to get real fucked, okay? You're all being led down the garden path of bullshit regarding a constitution of this country, or of this landmass, whatever you want to call it, okay? But that's what our standing is. We're not an actual country. We're a bunch of provinces that have sovereignty, and that's it. And this federal government has been pulling this big fucking scam on us for fucking a long fucking time. And if you don't believe me, then look up the Myth is Canada, okay? All of the documentation I just told you about is all right there. All the research is right there. And then you have other people that'll say, oh, no, that's all bullshit. All bullshit. Really? Well, it's researched. And that's what it is. And that's what it is. It's gone by the documentation of Westminster and all the rest of it. That's all there in those documents. And that's what we are. We're being led down the path of bullshit, okay? And people that don't want to believe it will give you more bullshit. Like Dallas Hill. Come on down and put your name on this piece of paper, and that's going to be our constitution. Yeah, like Pat King tried that bullshit too. Yeah, we just got to get everybody to sign this piece of paper to agree on a constitution. You know what they're going to do with that? They're going to wipe their ass with it, put it in the fucking garbage or the toilet, because that's all it's going to amount to. Unless it's done properly. Because if it's not done properly, it ain't going to amount to shit. But you have these people that will get up there and tell you a bunch of different ways to do a constitution. And it don't mean shit. Unless everybody has a representation of that constitution. And the only way that that can be done is every district has to elect a delegate to hold a constitutional convention. And those delegates will take those matters of that district to the table, and then they have to form a proper constitution and elect a vote on that, what they come up with. That is the constitution of the people. There's no other way to do it. Any other way to try pull that off will never work. Now I'm going to remind you something. Over the last 10 years or so, last 15 years, the government has brought in massive migration into this country. Massive. to upset the apple cart so that you, if you don't focus hard enough on a proper constitution and stuff, you will be lost. This country will be lost forever. We don't have that many shots at this anymore because they have brought in massive migration. In fact, they are already steering the elections now. Okay. The elections that are being held in Canada now are, I would say, pretty much rigged. Okay. Because now you've got these migrants all coming together and going down to the polls and being allowed to elect who they want to elect, you know. So it's almost like our elections are now rigged. Okay. This is the big problem that we now face as Canadians. So take that under your hat and understand how bad off it's going to be getting in Canada if we don't wise up and take back control of our country. We were going to lose it. And we're already on the verge of that now. Alberta wants its own independence, or if not that, they want to join America. All they got to do is do a referendum. All the government's got to do, the Alberta government, all it has to do is set up a national, provincial referendum to ask the people if they want this. And if they want it, if they get enough on that side, they will open the doors up to an American government. And Canada, as you know it and I know it, what we grew up in is going to be lost forever. My bringing out this convoy information to you is explaining how a major convoy, a major protest got fucked with. And later on in these broadcasts, you're going to get to learn certain connections of who knew who. And it's going to surprise a lot of you of who knew who and how it got to be so fucked. And all the press, like Rebel News and CBC and CTV and all the press out there is painting Tamara Leach and Chris Barber and all these guys, all heroes of the convoy. Well, what did they accomplish? Zero. And they ended up costing taxpayers a lot of fucking money in the courts to paint them out as, oh, they did wrong, and, put a big damper on the rights and freedoms movement from really having a major protest in the future. Isn't that kind of what happened? They caused a big rift in the justice system. If this ever happens again, we're going to be ready for it. We're going to scare the shit out of Canadians from ever having a big protest again like this one. The message is clear, ladies and gentlemen. The government played us. Played us for a bunch of fools. And that's why it was so important for me to bring you the backstory of the actual event of the convoy and why we lost big time. Because now the courts were able to bring up individuals and set these little precedences in their courts of mischief and all this bullshit over this bullshit. Okay. a very nicely put together piece of shit for all Canadians to see. The optics were there. You know, the truckers got their heads kicked in. We crushed. They were able to crush the big convoy of 2022 to make it look like this is what happens when you come up against the government. You lose. That's what they wanted you to see. Is it all lost? No. We need proper guidance in pulling off whatever it is we've got to pull off, and it isn't going to Ottawa to have a big fucking party. Okay, that's a mouthful. Now look at this. Here's another one. Here's this one here. Here's this one here. Look at this. Look at this here. This guy here is banned. I blocked him. Send money so he can get breakfast. Now let me show you this. I explained earlier about the trolls. And look at this. See this? No, go back. There he is. See that? There he is. Steve Kerr. And there he is. Send money so he can get breakfast. See this? This is the nut bar. Okay. Now, how he got in here, I don't know, Steve Kerr, but I will find you must be in one of the groups or something, but I blocked you. Okay. And I'll find out how you got in here, and I'll find out, and you're blocked again. I'll find out how you got in here. But I already put up a post. I mean, I already explained in the beginning of this video. That was number 3 that I blocked off the network because of shitty comments like this. Okay. I don't need your shit, Mr. Steve Kerr. I don't need your bullshit. I don't need anybody's bullshit, okay, of negative thinking. And if you think you're so smart, I'll catch up to how you got in here, and I will find a way to block you completely. Steve, do you want... No, he was already blocked, Kevin. I blocked him, okay? And I don't know how he got in here. He must have come in through... Where did he come in through? Facebook. So he's in a group. He must have got in a group or something. But I blocked him. And look at this, fucking Facebook. Okay, that's why I fucking hate Facebook, because I blocked this fuck already, and he's in here. Now, how the fuck does he get in here when I've already blocked him? Okay. Oh well. Steve Kerr, free speech. If you're respectful, okay? I don't have to listen to your bullshit, okay? Steve Kerr, your comment is right here, okay? I put it right there. That's what happens when you scam money. Listen to this. From people, go out for breakfast. He's got a little smiley face or some shit there. What a joke. Always crying. You don't have any money. Well, I just explained, moron. Okay. Last 10 years, I've been broadcasting. It's been my money. Okay, buddy. And I'm going on with an ongoing donate. Okay. Ongoing to help cover my expenses on broadcasting, motherfucker. I don't have to put out all my own money to broadcast to you Canadians so that you can wake the fuck up. Okay. Not on all my dime, my friend. Okay. You don't see value in my broadcasting, then why the fuck are you here? You know, why the fuck are you here? So you can throw your little cheap shots out at people? You're a fucking piece of shit. You're a dirtbag, okay? Fucking dirtbag. If anybody has him on that fucking network, block him. I don't know. Maybe that's how he got in. I don't fucking know. I was working, says question. Did you arise why you did not attend or travel with the convoy to Ontario? At the time I was working when that convoy, the second one, the first one I couldn't go. The second one I was working and I couldn't go, but I phoned the people that were going to go and told them to get Peter Turner in there. Okay. I couldn't go. I couldn't go because I was stuck working. But I did phone ahead of time to the people that were going to go to make sure that Peter Turner was going to be there so that he could help out, even though I couldn't go. And then I promoted it along with a lot of other broadcasters for people to go if they could go. So I did what I could. Okay. I didn't go out there for fame and glory like all these other motherfuckers. Okay. And I certainly didn't go out there for the money because I was already stuck making money in what I do, in what I was doing. So, I mean, it was, I think so too, Caitlin. I think that Alberta's separating. I don't mind it being an independent province, okay? But to go into Alberta, I mean, to go into being a U.S. country, I think is a bad idea. Because, excuse me, because the United States already has a lot of problems as far as being a country, okay? I think we can have a better country than the United States if we would get our shit together. And so far, what we've had is a lot of corrupt politicians get into power and keep the fucking corruption going. So if the people would come together and fix it, we would have something. Here's one from YouTube. I don't get YouTube's, please, Netley. Nature within. I don't know what that's all about, but there you had a chance there. I put it up there. Have another smoke, Jim Kerr says. I'll do whatever I want to, Jim Kerr. You're not my fucking boss. You're not my mother. You're not my dad. Look at this. This is how ignorant this guy is. Have another smoke. In the beginning of the broadcast, I already explained I have another lung infection, which I'm taking pills for. I just happen to still be a smoker. Okay. That's how ignorant. And that's why he got blocked. Let me see if there's a way. Delete comment. Oh, wait, I can block him. There, I blocked him. Okay. So there's a way to block that motherfucker on StreamYard. So I won't be hearing from Jim Kerr anymore. Or Steve Kerr, sorry. Steve Kerr, you're blocked. You're fucked. You're gone. Anyways, so I can if I find a guy on StreamYard that's being an asshole, I can block him from here. I just looked into that. I just seen um look at this. I reported him too on Facebook. Thanks, Lois, Todd. Yeah, I appreciate that. We don't need negative people in this network. They're of no value to us to give us stupid comments and negativity. Okay, that's not going to help anybody. So I'm not putting up with that. What's this one? You're right. It's always the people that counts. Unity is missing, which was totally bypassed. Leadership that has the integrity, I think, to lead was necessary, not those that wanted to be noticed only. Exactly. Well, it was also about the money. Okay, when the convoy was going to Ottawa the second time, there was big money, okay, in the kitty, okay, and they saw that and they fucking went for that money and party, and it had nothing to do with saving Canada or fuck all. It was the big show. They committed the big show, but they didn't solve fuck all except for truckers getting their heads kicked in. Yeah. I didn't go to convoy. Well, I mean, I'm glad a lot of people didn't go because it was a complete sham. Okay, that's what happened. It turned into being a big fucking sham for the second time. So we learned. We're learning. We're learning what happened, and that's why the importance of the convoy presentation that I'm putting on. There's 3 more shows coming up. They're on this Friday, on Fridays at 6 o'clock, and they will be on at 6 o'clock every Friday from now. Next Friday, there's a big protest coming up. There's Kevin McKenzie, my right hand man, if you want to call him that. He's been with the broadcast for a long time. My hat's off to Kevin McKenzie. So every Friday from now on, you will. There's 3 more shows to do on the convoy, and I'm bringing in people that were there and know all about it, and have firsthand information about what happened. Okay, and you know, it's very important that we learn from our mistakes, especially that big sham. And these broadcasters that are putting out Tamara Leach as being the starter of or the focal point of the convoy is bullshit, because she didn't start the convoy. Bridget did. Bridget will be coming on the broadcast in the last show to explain what happened to her. These monkeys threw her under the bus. Okay, bad news. And if you're new here, Connie, that's fine. I'm glad you're here, and I'm open to all the viewers that want to come in. My hat's off to you. I'm glad you're here. We had a few trolls that we had to get rid of, and I'm not going to stand for trolls. If I find the person is a troll and trying to disrupt the audience by being an idiot, we will get rid of them. We don't stand for trolls on this broadcast. So I want you all to feel comfortable, feel safe, and that's what it's all about for me. So, okay, guys, that's a mouthful. Oh, and Lois Todd is here too. New. Here's Lois Todd. Hi, Lois. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to all the new viewers, by the way. Um, as I said, I've been broadcasting for 10 years now, and there's lots to be said about Canada and what's going on. If you are new, I suggest you look up The Myth is Canada. Okay. Our founder for that, Doug Forrest, he passed away a couple of weeks ago. The Myth is Canada will enlighten you as to the history of Canada. Okay. Will enlighten you to the history of Canada. Oh, and here, Connie. Connie's been around for a long time. I'm not new, Ruddi. I have been watching for you for years. See, been around for a long time now. And we will be running donations to help cover our costs of the internet and all the new platforms and all the expansions that the broadcast is going to be doing. So I appreciate if you can show donations and stuff like that. In Windsor, on the Ambassador Bridge, Chris Sky shared that a while back, and we don't need shared leaders. Exactly. We're running at an hour now. Okay, guys, let's cut it a little short there. I'm going to play this song again for you.
Hello there. Thank you for joining us. This is the Ruddi Bruce broadcast. You focus on the truth. I focus on the facts. People of Canada, your voice will speak a million strong. If we come together and fight what's going on, we got homeless people living in tents. Be compassionate, do not judge, because 200,000 of us are using food banks. Where's the pride? Where's the pride? Where's our money we slave for? They cover it up. The working man is living poor. Ruddi has true leadership, speaking for the ones who are tired of this shit. Make the government officials get a grip, or everyone loses the respect. Something's wrong, open your eyes. They tell us lies, you're blinded to this and more. When you're lawn, united, we stand divided, we fall. The time will come, the day is near, we will all march. So listen with your ears, we are not zombies or fret me. Let's grind up the government, make compost for the maple trees. Let's avenge the deaths of the ones who have fallen. Coronavirus, opioids, we're still trying. They thought they got away scot-free. We will get the last laugh. Just wait and see. These talks we have on the broadcast will provide and guide. Let's do it fast. Taxpayers believe we live strong and free. Everyone does. Are you kidding me? Round of applause to you and yours for tuning in. We're opening doors. This is the real movement, people. Let's stand up, Canada, before we lose. Everyone does. Are you kidding me?
that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. We got into Sarah. Hi from Ontario. The entire country should be involved, as it's not just one province. That's right. Canada and the fight to maintain, get our country back in unity is of the utmost importance. Elbows up together. I'm not a big fan on the elbows up thing, but I get your point. We've all got to join together and make a difference. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to donate to the broadcast, you will see my email, and it's ruddybruce@gmail.com. I take e-transfers only. If you want to help out with expenses of the broadcast, feel free. I'm always open to a donation from now on because we are expanding the broadcast and kicking out the trolls. So if you want to donate, that is the email. If you're able to, I appreciate it. If you can't, I appreciate that you share. That's most important. Share the broadcast out to others so that everybody gets um, a view of what's going on in this country. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. And I thank you for coming in and joining us. I appreciate it. We were able to kick out a troll. I love it. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just getting the word out there. Till next time, Friday night, next Friday, 6 o'clock, another episode of the Convoy Special is going to be hitting the broadcast, and that'll be at 6 o'clock, Saskatchewan time. So until then, I appreciate you coming in, and I will see you then. Good night.